welcome, Eloise, to our new little platform of, trying to go a little bit more, what's the word, tech savvy, I guess, and keeping up with the times and molding with the current climate. So, just wanted to chat to you about some of your horses and stuff that you have, and just kind of see how you really got into riding and into your dressage and how you got to where you're at today. So, have you always been into riding, or what actually got you started with horses?
Yeah, so I definitely have always been into horses. I was sort of brought up with them all around me. My mum, she's been riding since she was like a teenager, so I just sort of followed along in her footsteps. And like probably got my first pony when I was about maybe 6 or 7, and did all pony club and went through the levels of pony club, and then into school, and then eventually into EA dressage. So yes, you could definitely say that they are probably take up most of my life.
That's pretty cool. That's really cool. So, working your way up through the ranks, like obviously, it's such a young age to be starting to ride at 6 and 7, and I think I might have been in the same boat too back then, just kind of plodding along. But it's impressive to see how you've moved up through the ranks that way too. Like, um, I would imagine you would have some idols along the way, like who, if you were to name someone who you aspire to be, or if you could name an idol, who would you name and why?
Yeah. So going like throughout my riding career, I have looked at lots of different riders and lots of different ways of training and competing. I think currently the person that I'm looking towards for training and competition wise would be Jessica Bendel. She's on the German dressage team, and she just looks like she sits there, and I guess that's the ultimate goal, is to look like you just sit there. And but you can only imagine the amount of work and time that has gone in at home to make it look like that. So I guess that's where I want to be. I want to make it look just so effortless. And so yeah, I'd say Jessica.
Yeah, pretty cool. And I think I think that is ultimately what a lot of dressage people aim is, to make it look effortless. And I think that's what makes it such a prestigious sport, and it just looks so elegant and it looks so beautiful. So that's kind of cool that you aim to be a lot like her. So, I wanted to touch base about your horses and that too, not just you and your idols. So tell me about the horses that you have right now.
So at the moment, I've got 2 competition horses. We've got our homebred and broken Jackson, or Brimstone Florente, who my mum bred, but I got to break him in, and so I've been riding him from when he was 3 or 4 until now, and he's now 9 in small tour. So he's very exciting. He's lots of fun. Tries very hard. And I've got another one, Bailey, or San Rhythmic, who is also in small tour, who we've had. My mum got him when he was about 6 months old and sort of brought him through, and I sort of got the ride on him a couple of years ago, so I was quite lucky. And he tries very hard too, so pushing him up towards sort of the Grand Prix movements. Yeah. Fingers crossed, yeah, we get there eventually. But yeah, those are my 2 competition horses at the moment.
Nice. So, I mean, that must be so rewarding to see them from birth or from a weanling age right up through to competition to where you're at now. That must be so rewarding to see that. Like, have they always been on prides from the very start?
They have, definitely. They really love it, for sure. And just Jackson especially has taken a lot of time to mature himself. He always looked like a bit of a gangly teenager, I guess. But especially now with the more collection work that he's doing, he's definitely building up a lot more bulk. And I think just the years of being on pride, such as Easy Response, and we now have them on Rebuild and Easy Result. They're definitely, all of that work is, you can see the feed is definitely helping him with his energy, and also, his bulk of muscle is, thank God, is building up. But yeah.
That's so cool. And actually, when I came and met with you and your mum last time, you mentioned you'd fed polished for a really, really long time too. So, can you just reiterate on that? I remember you telling me about the hoof condition of your horses.
Yeah, so all of our horses, we've got 5 horses at home, and in varying ages and levels, feed them polish for as long as we've been feeding prides. So it's really great for their coat. It gives them a nice shine to their coat, but also healthy as well. And also their feet, it's really good for strengthening their feet. But our horses don't have hoof problems. They've never had hoof problems. Keeps their foot really strong. And I guess over the consistent years of using polish, you can really see that long term it's such a great supplement to be able to feed for feet, having strong, healthy feet and coats as well. So it's a great supplement for sure.
Cool. Okay. Okay. I suppose I might throw you a little bit of a curveball with this one, but where you're at right now and knowing what you know about dressage, what would you tell your younger self when you were back in your pony club days and working your way up through into school? Like, what advice would you give to your younger self?
Yeah. Okay. I'd probably say be a bit stricter on yourself, actually.
Uh-huh.
I think that maybe not when I was in pony club. That was always fun, doing barrels and bounce pony. But I think I went overseas in 2017, and the biggest thing there was, it's very strict, and your training has to be so on point. You can't sort of go one day, oh, I'll try this, and then the next day, oh, I'll do something else. You have to be really strict on yourself to get consistent results. I think if I could go back to years, I definitely would do that to myself, and always be positive, because you might have a bad ride, but it's not all bad. So everything leading to a positive result. So I think that's probably what I tell myself.
Oh, that's so cool. And I suppose one other thing that comes to mind too, like last time we were sitting and talking, I remember you saying you were, before we met, you were going to get a coaching lesson. And I said, are you going to coach or are you going to get coaching? And I think that was really pretty cool that, not only are you helping younger people, but you're also still learning yourself. So, can you tell us, like, how often are you getting coaching, and what are you finding that you're taking on board now than what you were, I suppose, in those younger days? Like, what are you working on yourself and your horses at the moment?
So I get coached from Robert Schmerglat, who's based in Sydney, or close to Sydney. So he comes up probably every 4 to 6 weeks, and I'll see him. I'll get a lesson on each of my horses for 2 days. So that's really all the coaching that I get. But I can do video or ask for help, which is really great. But yeah, I think I just look at myself. I think, okay, what do I need to work on? What have I learned in the past that maybe I might have forgotten, and sort of go back to that and try and work on those methods or techniques again. And I guess at the moment I don't do a lot of movement work, in that I don't really practice the test movements as much. I'm more practicing the basic that builds up the test movement. So like at the moment I'm really working on just the classic inside leg to outside hand, which when you really break it down is actually very tricky. And I like to build my base so I can build up strong and even a little bit quicker than trying to jump on and just try to go straight to the harder thing. So I think having a really good base, working on your the basics, and maybe could be considered the easier things. I think if you can start from there and build up, then you're going to go a lot further in long-term training as well. And I like to do that when I'm giving lessons as well. I like to take a step back and go, this is what we have to build up to be able to get to the next step. To be able to do, this movement, we have to be able to, do this first. So that's how I like to train and how I like to as well. And I think so far I've seen some pretty good results from my own horses and also from students of mine, which is really rewarding for sure. So, yeah.
That's so cool. Basically get the basics right and build from there.
Yeah, I think so.
Cool. No, that's awesome. Well, thank you so much for taking the time to sit with me today, and you know, we'll certainly be in touch, and we wish you all the best with your upcoming coaching and with your further development as we go through. And yeah, thank you so much. So we'll talk soon.
Thank you, Hayley. That was really good. Thank you.